this is Dodger and you're watching my show. Currently it's actually Thursday. I know, you've been hoodwinked. But actual today, like Saturday, like the day that you are watching this, I am basking in the tropical sunlight that is London, bringing all my jackets. All my jackets. That also means that there's a possibility that something amazing or really important might happen in the gaming world while I'm gone. And maybe you watch this and you go, why didn't she talk about the thing? That's why. I apologize. First piece of news is STEAMBOXES, all the STEAMBOXES. I'm actually, instead of just talking about this all over again, I'm going to point you in the direction of the podcast that we had, the co-optional podcast. We talked about them for a while. So you guys can go ahead and watch that to find out all of our feelings on all of them individually. I got lost a few times. If you are the lovely owner of a 3DS and you have thought to yourself fairly often, man, if only there weren't region locks. This information might be for you. If you haven't updated in about 9 months, there is a hack for you that can allow you to play region-locked games. I know that's like highly specific, but I think it's anywhere between 4.1 and 4.5. So this is a while back. If you are between System Software Update 4.1 and 4.5, you can get a patched launcher that you can put on your 3DS, and then when you boot it up, it's just like, hey, whatever, region locks. There are a few problems with this though, which you could probably guess, one of which being when the game needs to update, it needs to update from a specific region, and it's gonna get really confused. You also need to have the actual cartridge. You have to buy the game from that region and play it. You can't play just like a pirated game. That's not how this works. Also, if you were to update your 3DS, sorry, I'm itching my foot. If you were to update your 3DS, then the launcher would not work anymore. That's better. I've thought a few times before, like, man, there's so many games that I wish I could play, but I don't want to have to buy another 3DS in order to play them from specific regions. Obviously, my system software is not that old, but it just makes me wonder, like, if eventually region locks won't exist anymore, that would be cool. To all Dark Souls 2 fans, you probably know that there is a comic book that has just released the first few pages. This is a prequel comic, and the way that you read it is you go to their Facebook page, the official Facebook page, and every week they will be putting up 2 new pages. I always find it really surprising when a game company, really any company, is like, the only way you can get this is through Facebook. Maybe that's because I'm somebody who logs into Facebook like once a month. If that's something that you want to read, there's some really cool people behind it making it happen, and it looks gorgeous. So the first few pages are on there already. They're going to be releasing 2 pages every week until launch, specifically until the 14th, I believe, because it's scattered. The days that it launches is scattered. But the 14th, which is right in the middle, comes out the 14th on Europe. It comes out 14th on Europe. The Oculus Rift is just getting better, and I am more excited than ever to try out a prototype because, oh my goodness. So they are working on a new prototype called Crystal Cove, and it adds in 2 very important features. One is positional tracking, and one is low resistance. What do those 2 things mean? So positional tracking is like being able to understand when you are leaning down or moving forward, or the way that you are positioned in comparison to the world that you are in. So as of right now, like, somebody couldn't take a book and be like, they can't do that. But with positional tracking, you would be able to track that, like the distance between you and other things, whether you're up or down, how close you are to the ground, how close you are to the ceiling, things like that that are very important in any sort of exploratory game, which most of them are now. Low resistance, I think, is one that is harder to achieve. So low resistance means the reason that people get motion sick when they are watching a movie or when they are playing on the Oculus Rift is because things blur. But in real life, most of the time things aren't blurring. No matter how fast you're moving your head, things don't blur. And the reason for that is because your brain is awesome. Without realizing it, you're constantly able to put things into focus because it's working so quickly. Like, no matter where you're looking, your brain and your eyes have already focused everything and are always looking at a specific point even if it doesn't feel like it. So low resistance basically is replicating that so that people don't get motion sick when they play these games. The example that was given on Joystick, which I thought was really cool, is she was put into a situation where she was in a cockpit, and without low resistance on, she would move her head around and all of the bright buttons would just blur together, right? And then when they turned low resistance on, she was able to focus on things, she was able to still read stuff while moving, which is also something that would be so important for virtual reality because, like, imagine you're in Skyrim, say, and you pick out a book and you're flippity flapping through it. You could walk through a room while reading it. You couldn't do that without low resistance or without positional tracking. So these things are huge, and I don't know if you can tell, but I am jacked, like so excited about that because those are the things that were missing that made me go, but is it really all that engaging, like all that interesting? Do you really feel like you're there? And everybody says, no, you don't. Like, you obviously know you're in a game, but I want it to get to a point where, like, you put it on and you're like, I am in this world. An Xbox One update is coming to change kind of their situation with all this. Yeah, let me start over. So the interface, when you turn on your Xbox One, the way that you interact with all of the different things is being overhauled a bit because all of the guys that have been working on it for so long are hearing a lot of feedback and they're like, you know what? That's valid. That's very valid. It sounds like a lot of the problems are things like, I'm trying to figure out how to use this, but it's hidden here. Why is that? And just things that should be used more often being kind of pushed to the background. And I guess a lot of people have written in saying it was a lot better on the 360, which made them just lose their minds. So they're working on it, which is awesome. And you might say, why don't they just do a bunch of tiny updates? Okay, aside from the fact that that is obnoxious, I hate it when programs constantly do updates. Oh my gosh, any of you who have like an app on your phone and every day it's like, hey, you should update me. No, that's the worst. The best way to gain a lot of data about what needs to be changed and what is working okay is to make a big change. And while the user might be a little overwhelmed at first, they get so much information back really quickly, and then they're able to kind of pinpoint the issues that way, rather than just being like, here's a little change, how do you feel? Here's a little change, how do you feel? Right? It's computers. It's how computers work, right? Huh? Speaking of Skyrim, oh my god, I totally forgot that I even had this topic to talk about. So Bethesda's been kind of doing the dance of death. They just, man, guys, everybody just keeps being like, hey, is this a legit thing? And they're like, no, that's a hoax, that's not legit. And then they're like, what about this one? It says it's directly from you. And they're like, no, guys, no, that's not real. Only trust information that's on our website or sent directly from us. So of course, immediately after saying that on their website, it said that Skyrim was going to be available for PS4 and Xbox One. And then they immediately went on Twitter and were like, no, that's not true, it's a bug. Like, how? It's just too, perfect. It's just too perfect for them to be like, look, only trust things if they're on our website or if we say them to you, God, and then immediately, like, God, it's killing me. Somebody did that on purpose. Like, I feel like that has to be true, right? Like, how? Like, how? Oh, God. I just love it. I love it. Anywho, that is my show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a positive or a negative response, feel free to leave it in my comment section. And if you would like to have coffee with me, you can click wherever I put the annotation and it'll take you to my other channel. But otherwise, I hope you guys had an amazing week and I will talk to you again. Well, I'll be gone next Saturday. There's nothing, I can't do anything about that. I can't make a news video over a week ahead of time. That's crazy. But I will be putting gameplay up this entire week, so watch for that. Okay, see you guys. Mwah.